Archangel Michael says, "The heavens are not silent tonight." The air around you is trembling with urgency, carrying a divine warning that cannot be postponed. Your soul stands at a thin edge between divine protection and a darkness that is waiting for its chance. A clock is ticking somewhere beyond human sight, its sound echoing in the spiritual realm. 10 seconds, no more, no less, stand between you and the decision that will determine whether God remains close or steps back from your path. This is not an ordinary moment, this is a final call before a door closes. You may think you have time, but the truth is, delays are dangerous now. In the unseen realm, forces are already moving toward you, some with blessing, others with destruction. One hesitation, one moment of ignoring this voice, and you will feel the cold absence of the one who has protected you until now. There is no greater loss than losing the guidance and presence of God. Without it, every step becomes harder, every battle feels heavier, and every victory slips through your hands. That is the weight of what is at stake in this very moment. Type Amen to get blessing 333. There's a shadow that has been circling your life for months. It has been waiting for a weakness, for a distraction, for that one instant when you are too busy to notice God's whisper. That moment is dangerously close right now. The enemy knows how to disguise itself as opportunity, comfort, or even harmless distraction. But in reality, it is a chain meant to pull you away from the light. You must hear this before that trap closes completely. Archangel Michael says, "A heavenly shield has been over you since the day you were born." But even a shield weakens when the one it protects walks away from the source of its strength. That is why this warning comes with such urgency. Right now, there is a spiritual storm gathering on the horizon. It is not meant for you, but it will hit you if you are found standing in the wrong place, with the wrong people, at the wrong time. God's instruction will be the only way out. Type Amen to get blessing 827. The world may look calm to your eyes, but in the spirit, there is chaos moving closer. You have been spared from countless unseen disasters because God has stood before you. Imagine, just for a moment, what life would feel like without His presence guiding your steps. Your dreams, your relationships, even your health, everything is tied to His covering. If you lose that, you lose the anchor that has kept your life from drifting into storms you couldn't survive. That's why this is a moment of decision, not discussion. There is a sound in the spirit, a closing gate. Once it locks, no prayer, no cry, no desperate plea will open it again. This is the reality of delayed obedience. Archangel Michael says, "You are being given a final window to act." The path is lit for you right now, but light fades fast if you keep turning away from it. This message is not about fear, it's about truth. Type Amen to get blessing 512. Your next move will either draw God closer or push Him further. There is no middle ground left anymore. The season of gentle reminders is over. Someone in your circle is unknowingly part of the reason this warning has come. Their influence, their words, even their silent presence, is leading you to ignore the voice that's been trying to save you. This is not about blaming them, it's about freeing you. The spiritual realm works on timing. What you do in these next moments will decide whether God remains at the center of your life or becomes a distant voice you can no longer hear. That is why this moment feels so heavy. Archangel Michael says, he has seen too many souls lose the light because they thought they could wait. Waiting is the enemy's greatest weapon. It kills destiny quietly, without noise, without warning. Type Amen to get blessing 904. If you wish to express your support further, you have the option to give super thanks, with contributions of up to $20. Archangel Michael says, the time for hesitation is gone. Every second that passes now is a second the enemy uses to build a wall between you and the presence of God. The longer you wait, the higher that wall becomes until you can no longer see the light beyond it. The pull you feel right now is not just emotion, it is the Spirit tugging at your heart before it's too late. Heaven has opened a narrow pathway for you to step into safety, but it will not stay open forever. What you choose in these moments will echo into every corner of your future. There is a darkness moving quietly, trying to convince you that you have more time. It will whisper comfort while slowly taking away your strength, your peace, and your protection. This is how many lose God without realizing it until they are standing alone in the storm. Your destiny is too valuable to be left to chance. Every blessing that has been waiting for you depends on you keeping God close now. This is why the warning feels heavy. It is carrying the weight of your entire future. Type Amen to get blessing 291. The angels assigned to your life have been standing guard, pushing away harm, opening doors, and guiding your steps. But even they can only protect where God's presence remains. When you walk away from Him, you walk away from their covering. Your life has been spared from things you didn't even know about, accidents, betrayals, sudden losses, because God said, "Not my child." Without His word over you, the very things He kept away can suddenly break through. That is the risk you face now. Archangel Michael says, this is not a message meant to scare you, it is a message to save you. It is the final reminder before a shift happens in your life that cannot be undone. The choice is still in your hands, but the time is slipping fast. Some people around you may not understand why you suddenly choose to listen to this call. That's because this message is not for them, it's for you. Heaven is speaking directly to your spirit, bypassing every distraction and doubt. Type Amen to get blessing 678. The enemy knows how close you are to a breakthrough. That is why he's sending confusion, delay, and false comfort right now. He wants you to believe you can ignore this voice and still keep God's favor. Every great fall begins with a single ignored warning. That's why this one has been sent with urgency, with precision, and with no room for misunderstanding. You are standing at a gate, and it will either open wider or close forever. The spiritual atmosphere around you has shifted. You may have noticed changes, tension in the air, sudden interruptions, restless nights. These are signs that your spirit is in the middle of a battle. Archangel Michael says, he has seen battles won and lost in moments like this. Those who listen to the voice of God walk out of the fire untouched, while those who ignore it are left wondering when everything started to fall apart. Type Amen to get blessing 755. Your heart already knows the truth. That's why it's beating faster as you read these words. It's recognizing the weight of this divine moment. This is not a warning for another day, this is for now. The decision you make in these seconds will set the tone for your days, your weeks, your months ahead. You cannot afford to treat it lightly. God's presence is a fire that lights your path and burns away what is meant to harm you. Without it, even the smallest obstacle can become a mountain. That is why the angels are urging you to hold on tightly to Him now. Archangel Michael says, once you choose to step into God's instruction, you will feel the shift immediately. The heaviness will lift, the confusion will break, and the storm that was meant for you will be redirected away. Type Amen to get blessing 832. The winds in the unseen world are not blowing gently anymore, they are roaring with a force that demands your attention. There is a narrowing of the path ahead, and only those who are in alignment with God's voice will pass through it unharmed. You are being called to step forward now before the opening disappears completely. There are assignments in motion against you that you have not yet seen. They are subtle, moving in shadows, disguised as harmless situations. But without God's immediate instruction, you could walk right into them thinking they are safe. Archangel Michael says, your name has been spoken in both the courts of heaven and the gatherings of the enemy. One side is fighting to keep you covered, while the other is fighting to strip you of that covering. Every choice you make now will empower one side over the other. This is why your spirit feels restless. You are sensing that something unseen is pressing closer. Heaven is calling you to stand still in obedience, because only then will the attack dissolve before it reaches you. Type Amen to get blessing 491. If you delay, you give permission to forces that should never have access to you. They will enter silently, through your thoughts, your relationships, your daily habits, until you wake up one day and feel like God is far away. That is the danger this message is trying to prevent. The truth is, losing God's presence is not always loud. It can be quiet, almost unnoticeable at first. A little less peace, a little less joy, a little more fear creeping into your heart day by day. You have been given a light that others envy, and that is why there is such an effort to dim it. But your obedience in this very moment will turn that light into a flame that nothing can extinguish. Archangel Michael says, he has been ordered to guard you closely for the next hours, but you must stay under the umbrella of God's covering. To step out now is to step into an unprotected storm. Type Amen to get blessing 764. The air feels different right now for a reason. There is a spiritual alignment happening, and your choice will decide which way the energy flows toward you, blessing or loss. The angels are holding their position, waiting for your response. The enemy is hoping you will dismiss this as just another message. He is counting on you being distracted long enough for the moment to pass. That's why there's so much noise and disruption around you today. The 10 seconds given are not about time on a clock, they are about the window in the spirit. And that window is closing as you read this. You can either step through it or be left behind. Archangel Michael says, those who move in alignment with God now will be elevated to a place of safety, where the reach of the enemy cannot touch them. But those who delay will find themselves facing battles that could have been avoided. Type Amen to get blessing 219. You have been asking for a sign, and this is it. There is no more waiting for a clearer word, heaven has spoken. The only thing left is for you to act. Everything that God has promised you is still within reach. But promises are tied to obedience, and obedience has a deadline. You are standing at that deadline now. Think about the moments in your life where you avoided disaster without knowing why. That was not luck, that was divine presence. The same presence is here now, calling you to respond before it lifts. Archangel Michael says, the choice you make here will echo into generations. It will not just affect your life, but the lives connected to you. That's how significant this moment truly is. Type Amen to get blessing 688. Your spirit can already feel the shift. That tightening in your chest, that sense that something is pressing against your thoughts, it's the signal that you're standing at the edge of a spiritual divide. One step will lead you into the fullness of God's covering, the other will lead you into a silence that will feel colder than any night you've known. The voice you are hearing in your heart right now is not ordinary. It is sharp, clear, and unshakable because it's coming directly from the throne room. Heaven is not sending this to frighten you, but to awaken you before it's too late. Archangel Michael says, once the covering lifts, you will feel the absence in ways you never thought possible. Doors that used to open easily will feel sealed. People who once stood beside you will drift away without explanation. This is not punishment, it's the natural result of walking without divine direction. That's why this warning is not a suggestion but an urgent call to act while the grace is still present. Type Amen to get blessing 402. The enemy has studied your life. He knows your habits, your distractions, and the precise moments when you're most likely to ignore the voice of God. That's why he's pressing so hard now, because he knows a shift in your spirit would destroy his plans completely. Every blessing you've been praying for is still within your grasp, but it's hanging on by the thread of your obedience. If you pull away now, that thread will snap, and it will take months or even years to recover what you lost in seconds. You may think the loss of God's presence will be obvious, but it often comes slowly. A small compromise here, a small neglect there, until suddenly, the light feels distant. That is the quiet danger. Archangel Michael says, this is the time to close every door to the enemy and anchor yourself in the presence of God. Because when the covering is intact, nothing formed against you can succeed. Type Amen to get blessing 511. Right now, angels are standing at the threshold of your home, your mind, and your heart. They are ready to strengthen the walls around you, but they cannot act without your agreement to follow the divine instruction. This is a partnership, you and heaven moving together. The forces trying to pull you away will not stop simply because you heard this message. In fact, they may increase in strength for a short time, hoping you will panic and walk away. That's why you must hold your ground now more than ever. When God speaks, it's not just for the moment, it's for the battles you don't even know are coming yet. Right now, this instruction is your shield for the days ahead. Archangel Michael says, in moments like this, delay is defeat. Action is protection. Obedience is victory. Type Amen to get blessing 947. If you lose God now, every path will feel uncertain. You will find yourself second-guessing decisions, doubting your instincts, and fearing what's ahead. The clarity you once carried will fade. But if you hold on, the opposite will happen. Peace will flood you, even in chaos. Your steps will feel lighter. Doors will open where walls used to be. That is the reward for listening now. This is not a time for half decisions or, I'll do it later. This is the now that heaven has marked for you. Every moment after this is a ripple caused by what you decide here. Archangel Michael says, the next hours are sacred. You will see signs, small but undeniable, that confirm what you've heard. When they appear, act on them without delay. Type Amen to get blessing 328. The silence between these words is not empty, it is loaded with the weight of heaven's urgency. Every heartbeat is a reminder that the moment of decision is not waiting for you to feel ready. Read carefully, because the next lines carry the final push before the door begins to close. You have been spared from attacks you never even saw. Those sudden changes in plans, those delays that frustrated you, they were divine interventions, stopping something far worse from reaching you. If you lose God's covering now, those protections will no longer be in place. Archangel Michael says, there are eyes watching you right now, both in the physical and in the spiritual. Some are looking for your downfall, hoping you slip. Others are guarding you, ready to fight on your behalf. Which side gains power will be determined by your choice in this exact moment. The enemy is not fighting you because of where you are, he is fighting you because of where you are destined to go. That's why this moment feels like a crossroads that pulls on your spirit so heavily. Type Amen to get blessing 715. The warning is not meant to overwhelm you, but to shake you awake. You have walked through too much fire to lose it all now by ignoring this call. Heaven is extending its hand one last time before the season shifts permanently. Your name has been spoken in the courts of heaven today. There is a record being written about what you choose next. That record will either release blessings or close certain doors for a long time. The thought that you have more time is the lie that destroys destinies. The enemy has placed that thought before many, and they lost their connection before realizing it was slipping away. You cannot give that lie a place in your mind. Archangel Michael says, there is a covering of light over you now, but it is not automatic, it is maintained by alignment. Lose the alignment, and the light fades. Hold the alignment, and the light becomes untouchable. Type Amen to get blessing 284. There is someone in your life who will not understand why you suddenly start making different moves after reading this. They may question it or even mock it. But they are not the ones who will live with the results, you are. The moment you obey, you will feel the shift. It may not be loud or dramatic at first, but it will be a steady peace that starts wrapping around you. That peace is the sign that God's presence is holding you close again. Do not underestimate what losing God's guidance can do. It doesn't just affect your spirit, it affects your decisions, your health, your relationships, your ability to see danger before it arrives. That's why the angels are sounding the alarm. Archangel Michael says, this moment is your shield. If you step into it fully, no weapon formed against you will have a chance to land. If you ignore it, even the smallest attack will feel like a crushing blow. Type Amen to get blessing 996. You are not reading this by accident. Heaven has orchestrated this encounter so that you cannot say later, I didn't know. Now you know, and now the choice is yours. Your spirit is stronger than the distractions trying to pull you away. But strength is nothing without direction. God is that direction, and losing Him is losing the map through the storm. The days ahead carry both opportunities and traps. Without His voice, you won't be able to tell the difference between them. That is the danger of stepping away now. Archangel Michael says, you are still in time. The gate has not yet shut. But you must decide before the silence becomes permanent. Type Amen to get blessing 587. The pressure in the air right now is not imagined, it is the spiritual atmosphere shifting. Something is being decided over your life in real time, and your agreement with God will determine the final outcome. Every moment you hesitate, the scales tip in one direction or the other. You have been protected in ways you didn't even understand. There were moments where you thought you simply avoided bad luck, but in truth, angels were moving obstacles out of your path. Without God's direct hand over you, those same obstacles can return with greater force. Archangel Michael says, the enemy has been patient, studying you, learning where your guard drops. He is not in a rush, because he knows that one moment of disobedience can open a door he's been waiting to enter for years. That's why the warning feels like it's pressing against your chest right now. The unseen battle is already underway. You cannot see the forces clashing in the spirit, but you can feel the weight in your mind and heart. That heaviness is the sign that the moment of choice has come. Type Amen to get blessing 468. You may have been thinking of putting off certain changes until next week, next month, or when life feels right. But the truth is, the enemy counts on delay more than outright rebellion. Delay gives him time to set traps you won't see until it's too late. God's timing is perfect, but it also requires movement. When he says now, the safest place you can be is in obedience immediately. Waiting may seem harmless, but in the spiritual realm, hesitation can cost everything. The loss of God's guidance is rarely felt all at once. At first, it just feels like confusion in decisions. Then, it feels like losing momentum. Eventually, it feels like you're walking in the dark with no way out. Archangel Michael says, the reason this message comes with such force is because heaven knows what's coming if you don't listen. They see the storm days before it arrives. You are being told now so you never have to feel its full impact. Type Amen to get blessing 344. Right now, the heavens are still open over you. There is still a straight path ahead that leads to safety, blessing, and restoration. But that path will not remain open indefinitely. It will begin to narrow, and then it will be gone. There are people tied to your destiny who will be affected by what you do next. Your decision is not just about you, it will ripple into their lives, shaping their futures. That's how serious this is. If you walk away from God's presence now, those who are spiritually connected to you may also feel the loss without knowing why. They depend on the covering over your life more than you realize. Archangel Michael says, this is not just about saving you, it's about saving everything your life touches. That's why there is no room for delay. Type Amen to get blessing 719. You have faced battles before, but the one approaching is different. It is designed to test your alignment with God, not just your strength. If you are not aligned, the battle will feel impossible to win. The choice you make now will place you in one of two positions, standing under God's light, untouchable, or standing outside it, exposed. The difference between those two positions will decide how the next chapter of your life unfolds. This is why heaven is speaking with such urgency. The message is simple, but the consequences are enormous. Archangel Michael says, obedience will draw God so close to you that every shadow will flee. Disobedience will give the shadows a place to stay. The decision is yours, but the time to make it is now. Type Amen to get blessing 206.